Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, our Father is working to return our heritage back to us. He said that he was going to give us everything that we lost back again. It's working out right now in our minds, in our spirits. The Most High is reconnecting us with the things that we used to do in the past. And as you can tell, the other nations have worked feverishly to keep us away from our inheritance. They've given it to everyone else. Just like in the last video, we talked about the chakras and that whole line of thinking and how it was given to the East Indians. But in that book about the Illuminati, they were saying that it did not originate with those people. But of course, they tell you they don't know who it originated from. But it was for everybody. And we showed you that the scriptures and these, a lot of these hidden things, a lot of these things in the Bible, the scriptures were given to the Most High's chosen people. And the Most High has not dealt with the other nations in that way. We're going to get into another topic, another one of our past inheritances that was given to another people. It's given to Ish. Ish has taken a lot of the esoteric teachings that we had that were for the few, and it's been given to them. And the Most High is going to give it back to us, and is going to give the understanding of how to use it and how it works. And the other nations are totally aware of this fact. They're aware that certain teachings, esoteric teachings, were given to a small portion of society, and it's theirs alone. And that really the key to the earth going back into the heavenly place that it was before is dependent upon these people reclaiming their rightful place in the earth again. And that's what the Most High is doing. He's reconnecting us with our information. Gone are the days of when the Gentiles can say, oh, that's evil. Oh, that's witchcraft. Oh, you shouldn't do this. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Because now it's like, well, prove it. You can't just say it anymore. You're going to have to prove it. You're going to have to tell us why we can't do this. Even if we'll even listen to you. Because we've been lied to by everyone. And even to this day, we're still being lied to. Because the whole world is confederate to keep us away from our knowledge. And the only way we're going to get it back is through the power of the Most High. He's going to send the Holy Spirit to lead us back to our knowledge and understanding. The angels are going to minister to us and give us back our knowledge and understanding. It is going to be a supernatural recovery, a supernatural restoration of the Most High's people. To the Most High is going to go all the glory. Because through all of the adversity that we've gone through all of the adversity of all the nations coming against us to hide all this information, the Most High is showing you still that He is supreme and that His will be fulfilled. Prophecy will be fulfilled. The Most High's people will be given the knowledge and understanding that they had before. They will be raised back up to their proper positions. They will be the head once again, and the other nations will be the tail. The Gentiles that are coming to this truth, and the ones that want to cleave to the truth, and want to cleave to the Most High, and want to cleave to His people, those are the ones that are going to obtain some type of mercy. The ones that want to have a whole, society of the ostrich with his head buried in the sand, there will be no mercy for you, because you want to continue with the lie until the wheels fall off. It's going to be a short video. It's just going to be kind of an introduction, because we're going to get into some other topics, probably starting tomorrow, most high willing. The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Like I told you, this book is overwhelming because there's so much information. There are so many different topics, many things that we have been exposed to that we have not really had answers to. Those kinds of things are in here. If you guys watch the movie of Tom Hanks, The Da Vinci Code, and there's a part in there about how the Knights Templar were searching for the Holy Grail, and then eventually they found something, and they went back to Rome, to the Vatican, and they pretty much blackmailed the Pope, and they've got untold riches to pretty much keep quiet for whatever it was that they found. But in the movie, they never go into what was found. But in this book, they give you a good example of probably what they found. Because remember, like the Knights Templar, they got really rich. The church had to pretty much give them whatever they wanted. So whatever they found was something that the church wanted to keep quiet. And eventually the church turned on them and killed them all. But those are the kinds of things that are hidden in this book. And I'll try to make a video on that as well, among other things. I mean, the book is actually huge. It's a really big book. It's got tiny writing, and it's just got so much information. We're going to get into one little part right now. Like I said, once the Most High, remember, like in the last video, I talked about how once you get the understanding, you can find your story in so many different books across so many different lands, because truth is universal. So when you're reading certain things, the church and society is going to tell you, no, this doesn't belong to you. This doesn't pertain to you. This is evil. Stay away from it. But as you look at it, it's going to connect with your spirit. The Most High is going to show you that, yes, this is yours. Yes, this is where I want you to go. This is the path I want you to take. This is the path of restoration for your people and for the world. And as you take a step towards this understanding, a step towards this information, the rest of the world's going to be working their hardest to pull you back. Don't look at that book. Don't look at this information. It's not yours. It's not yours. Listen, I told you only 80 books. Look, I only told you 66 books. That's all that you got. Everything else is for all the other groups. It's their information. You can see this tug of war playing out day by day, because we are getting our understanding back at breakneck speeds. Many of you have already been prepared for this step in the awakening. Many of you, I already know, the Spirit's already telling me that you have this understanding, but you've been afraid to bring it out because you've been told that it's evil. You've been told that it's wrong. But you've been studying it on your own. You've been studying it and keeping it a secret because you didn't think that, this was the way that the Most High wanted us to go. But you were pulled to it because it's something that's in your spirit, something that has pulled you to this information, pulled you to this understanding even before we've gotten into it. And all your life, you've been into this information, but you haven't really shared it because you didn't feel like it went along with the awakening. But now the Most High is expanding our awakening, expanding our knowledge and understanding. That's where we're at right now. So I know that, this is new information to me, but I know the Most High is going to bring the right people in my path to be able to expand this information for the nation. Like I said, we all have our gifts and talents. And I know that some people have the gifts and talents and understanding with this information we're going to be bringing out right now. Right now, we're just going to do a little introduction, a little bit of information, showing how this is ours. And then we're going to keep on going in with it. We're going to be going into so many different topics. This is why they want to keep you in one book only, so they can control the narrative. Because once the Most High breaks our bonds, breaks our, our bonds of being under these other nations, and expands our knowledge, they won't be able to even contend at all with what we bring out. So right here, an encyclopedic outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. Okay, being an interpretation of the secret teachings concealed within the rituals, allegories, and mysteries of all ages. Like I said, a lot of esoteric information by Manly Palmer Hall. Okay, this tree here. Okay, a picture of this tree. It'll go with the Sephiroth. Okay, the tree of the Sephiroth may be considered an invaluable compendium of the secret philosophy, which originally was the spirit and soul of Chassidism. The Kabbalah is the priceless heritage of Israel. Now, which Israel are we talking about? This is as it says right here, the Kabbalah is the priceless heritage of Israel. These other nations know who this understanding belongs to. And we know they're not talking about Ish. I used to hear about the Kabbalah, and I always heard negative things about it. And I never really got into it or studied it because, hey, that's what I was told. It was negative. I told it was, this and that, and never really looked into it. Now the Most High is kind of opening up understanding of different things, and we're going to be getting into some of this information. And you take it for what it's worth. If it makes sense to you, study it. If it doesn't, just leave it alone. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but it's just an introduction, and then see what how the Spirit leads you. So again, the Kabbalah is the priceless heritage of Israel. But each year, those who comprehend its true principles become fewer in number. The Jew of today, if he lacks a realization of the profundity of his people's doctrines, is usually permeated with that most dangerous form of ignorance. And that's it. The Jew of today, if he lacks a realization of the profundity, of his people's doctrines, is usually permeated with that most dangerous form of ignorance. And that's the thing. The Jew today, if he lacks a realization, most of us don't realize how deep our understanding, how deep our heritage is, how deep our understanding is. When you've been told that, you got 100% of the truth from 66 or 80 books, and that you don't need any more, that's like a satanic move to keep you from realizing how deep your knowledge and understanding is. When you're taught, don't look at the stars, don't look at astrology, don't look at the planets, don't look at any of these things, that's to keep you from looking at how deep your heritage goes, how deep your spiritual understanding goes. That's what these other spirits that are over these other nations have been hiding from us, have been working so diligently to hide the fact that we are spiritually and intellectually much further along than all the other nations. And that's in the scriptures, that we are to be above all the other nations, not just physically, but also spiritually. Let's get that real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy, let me say 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So that's not me saying it. That's what the Most High has said. He has lifted up a certain people to be above all the other nations upon the face of the earth. Now, they have a responsibility to be a light. They've been lifted above, not just to be above, but to be a light to the other nations. So therefore, when the Most High gives us knowledge and understanding, it is our job to be a light to the other nations. And that's why the Jew of today, if he lacks the realization of how deep his people's doctrines is he's just going to get stuck. He's just going to stop and think that he knows everything, when that is absolutely impossible. It is impossible for us to know everything and sitting here in our crude physical, bodies. We will learn much more, have much more understanding when we are in the spirit world. But we can do our best to learn as much as we possibly can right now that the Most High wants to give us. Okay? So let's continue here. Is usually permeated with that most dangerous form of ignorance, modernism, and is prone to regard the Kabbalah either as an evil to be shunned, like the plague, or as a ridiculous superstition, which has survived the black magic of the Dark Ages. And that's like, hey, I was like that. I thought that, hey, this is like an evil that should be shunned, okay, like the plague or ridiculous superstition. That's what I've been taught, and that's what I heard, and I never even looked at any of this stuff before. But the Most High moved me the last couple of weeks to start getting some books and get some information, and I'm going to be sharing some of it with the nation. And then, like I said, if it's in you, you will go ahead and study it. If people have already been studying it, write about it in the comment section. Let other people see it. Like I said, we are a much deeper people, physically and spiritually, than we could ever imagine. That's why we can't let the other nations dictate who we are. Can't let the other nations dictate what we are capable of learning. They've been showing us as being the most idiotic people in the world, that are incapable of higher learnings, higher understandings. That's how we've been portrayed. That's been on purpose. Okay, so again, Kabbalah is either as an evil to be shunned, like the plague, or as a ridiculous superstition which has survived the black magic of the Dark Ages. Yet, without the key which the Kabbalah supplies, the spiritual mysteries of both the Old and the New Testament must remain unsolved by Jew and Gentile alike. So as we get this understanding again, we're going to be the ones that are going to be unlocking the keys. We're going to be the ones that are going to be unlocking this understanding through the power of the Most High. We're not going to do this on our own. We're going to be doing this with the power of the Most High. Him guiding us. The Holy Spirit giving us knowledge and understanding. The angels coming and giving us information to our people. In the next video, you're going to be surprised as to who some of the people were that were already initiated in this Kabbalah and in these practices. Some of our patriarchs were already taught these things. And like I said, this was a lot of esoteric understanding, so therefore it wasn't spread to everyone. It was only given to a select few. And we'll be getting into that probably next day or two, Most High willing. But I just wanted to share this little bit of information right here about how they know that this Kabbalah is the priceless heritage of Israel. They know that this information is for Israel. This is the Israelite information, Israelite understanding, not for Ish. But you gotta come up with a people in order to attribute these things to, so that we'll never figure out that it was ours. And you got all these people in the East, getting into all this stuff like it's theirs. But the Most High is now working to give us all this information back to His people, and He's going to give us the understanding on how it works. All praise is the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who was wisdom? Who was the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.